Hello, and welcome to more than 250 of you. I took a look this morning and saw that as of today, the 12th of March, 2025, this channel now has over 250 subscribers. That's awesome. That's phenomenal. Thank all of you for subscribing and listening. A couple of months ago, I hit the 100 subscriber mark, and I was just thankful that around 100 people were interested in listening to me ramble on about things that I think are cool, but it seems that we've hit the 250 mark already, and this is incredible. I wanted to at least give like a commemorative, hey, thank all of you, real quick, and kind of a pseudo channel update progress thingamawhatsit, since I noticed. This is awesome. I mentioned this a little bit in the 100 subscribers thank you rant, but this channel started as just kind of a fun little hobby. I had been asked by a lot of people in real life if I'd ever done any voice work or anything like that, and I decided that, hey, if enough people have asked, maybe I should actually give that a shot. Problem was I didn't know where to start, so I thought, how about I read things that are cool to me on the internet? So I started with reading SCPs and things like that because I think they're pretty cool. They're already pre-written, they're public domain, and I just think they're cool. And overall, I thought early on that this channel was going to be focused on kind of horror and spooky content because I very, very much enjoy that. But one fateful day, when I had gotten a little more comfortable and started just ranting about things that I like, I accidentally hit the nail on the head, I suppose, and talked about one of my favorite hobbies, Battletech/MechWarrior, the tabletop and video game setting. And it really blew up and grabbed people's attention. So I started talking more and more about it because, I love the setting, and hey, if people want to listen to me talk about that, all the better, right? And, well, back when I made that 100 subscriber special, I kind of interspersed things and, people were interested in it, but now that's kind of become the channel focus. I have switched gears, as it were, from SCPs and spooky content to mech content, which, by all means, is pretty neat. I've loved mechs since I was a kid, so the fact that now I get to just talk about mechs and mech settings that I think are cool, well, vehicle stuff in general, really, but mechs in particular, that's phenomenal. That's awesome. Thank all of you who have subscribed for listening to me talk about something I'm passionate about. That's really awesome. I do intend to at least hit from SCP-2 all the way to 100, just because I kind of set that goal for myself and I want to finish that out, and then I might do a little rant recap talking about, hey, I read 100 SCPs, here's what I learned. Because I think that's kind of neat. And then I got a suggestion from a subscriber to read a particular SCP, SCP-3973, because it's effectively tabletop minis that come to life, and I feel like that would be a great little transition, because that seems to be where we're going, or where I'm going with all of this. So this is sort of a both thank you and kind of a channel update. I've rambled on kind of unspecifically, so here's sort of the plan as it's unfolded. I'm going to finish up the SCPs every other week or so and start focusing more and more on mech content. Not just Battletech. You'll see where I'm going with that hopefully shortly. But just the idea of mechs in general. But Battletech will remain probably my biggest focus, not only because there's so much out there and so many mechs, but also because I've spent way too much time on the table and in the video games. I mean, MechWarrior 5 Clans came out after I made that first 100 subscriber special, so I've been playing that as well. It's just been an absolute blast. So, ultimately, this channel started as just a hobby, and now it's become a place where I can talk about things I'm passionate about and get some fantastic feedback from the community, some fantastic feedback from all of you guys. I've had some great discussions in the comments with your guys' thoughts and opinions on things, and particular views for Battletech as a whole, and just mechs in general, and that's just been phenomenal and awesome. Also, I've gotten a little more confident in doing unscripted content. I mentioned in the 100 subscriber special that I wanted to start moving away from just pre-written stuff, and for those of you who've been listening to my Battletech videos, the first half is usually a Sarna reading, and then usually the back half is just me rambling about why I think a mech is cool or interesting, or just my personal thoughts on it. Because originally it started with a Sarna reading with like a minute or two of my personal thoughts, and now I think the personal thoughts for the most part have almost taken up half the video length for all of those. And then on top of that, I've started doing what I've called battle rants, which is completely unscripted. It's just me going over either fun things from Battletech or things in the lore. The whole point is that they're just kind of rants that have to do with Battletech in particular, and one video that ended up getting a really good response is Who Are the Good Guys, which is basically, long story short, me saying there aren't exactly any good guys in the setting, you can fight for any side that you want, and they all have something terrible they've done and something good that they've done that's worth fighting for, and that got some amazing engagement. I loved talking with you guys about that, and it was just, I don't know, it was pretty cool. And then also something rather surprising happened. Another channel of about the same size reached out to me. Funny enough, because I happened to meet the person in charge of it at a convention. And we ended up talking, and I started going on a podcast over there. It's the channel's called Velvet Games. They're pretty cool. They review video games. They talk about tabletop stuff. And they invited me over there to a couple of podcasts, and I still, about once a month or so, still do talk on podcasts about, you know, different thoughts on games and stuff, and it's been really cool to kind of enter this space. Again, YouTube started as just kind of a hobby, a way for me to practice voice work and editing and all that stuff, and now it's, dare I say, actually becoming kind of a small job, and that's really cool. I've often held the belief, an almost sort of Star Trek-like view, that humans inherently want to work, and they want to work at something that they're passionate about. Humans rarely want to stay idle, and I've had the privilege to sit down and record rants and readings about things that I'm interested in, to the point where, well, people are interested in it, and the channel is growing. And I just think that that's so cool. The idea that this can be more than just a hobby is really fascinating, and not something that I'd really truly considered until now. I know that, 250 subscribers is a far cry from, thousands of subs, or, people who do make YouTube their career, but either way, I just really want to thank all of you guys for listening and commenting, just everything. I hope to continue making content that people are interested in listening to. I hope to continue doing rants and readings and all that kind of stuff. And there's going to be a lot more mech content. There's going to be a lot more rants, talks on that kind of stuff. And if I decide to go back into horror and whatnot, because again, I still am very passionate about horror as well. As much as I love mechs, horror and whatnot is still very much a genre that I absolutely love. Horror, mystery, that kind of stuff. It almost seems like I could probably get to the point where I make a second channel dedicated to that. That way, the people who are just here for mechs don't have to sift through as much. But that's, I suppose, thinking way ahead. In the short term, gonna finish out the SCPs, gonna refocus almost entirely on mech and other rant sci-fi content, with a little bit of whatever else I find interesting interspersed, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Thanks again to all of you. Sorry if this format, my little rant, is even more loosely put together than usual, because this is a completely impromptu rant. I just saw that I hit 250 subscribers, and so I figured I'd make a pretty immediate response on it. So, as one final wrap-up, a TLDR, thank you all so much for subscribing. I hope to continue making stuff that people are interested in. There's going to be a lot more mechs in the future, and a lot more interesting stuff that I hope you guys will like. Expect a lot more unscripted content, but of course I'll keep doing mech readings and Sarna readings as well. And thank all of you for sticking around, and especially thank you for listening to my voice.